all I literally thought was, please, God, don't let me slip. I was crying, and I was
Oh, God. And welcome back to the channel, guys. How's it going? How's it going? So you guys already know what time it is, man. It's around this time of night. Before we get started on this video, I want to say yes, this is part 3. And thank you, Wansee Entertainment, man. And I also want to thank to all those 6 subscribers, man, that we got. You already know, bro, we're coming up. We're coming up on this game. So without further ado, I'm just going to give you guys what you came for, man. Mysterious shadows in our haunted house. All right, let's click play.
I live in the same house since my birth till I'm 18. It used to be my grandfather's house, and he gave it to his sons. We all live together, my father and his 2 brothers.
Off rip, that looks like a creepy family.
Our grandpa passed away when I was about to born. When me and my cousins were young,
why is this girl talking like all weird?
By telling that before Grandpa bought this house,
about to born,
there were husband and wife been murdered, and their bodies were found in our water tanks, and they became ghosts now.
Oh man.
They told us this story to keep us away from the roof and water tanks as they all go to work. At my young age, I didn't notice these paranormal stuff happening. But after I reached 11, my life changed. We all had separate room, but me and my 2 sisters shared one room.
So you don't have separate rooms?
I was just watching some videos on YouTube until late at night. It was around 2:00 a.m. and my sister.
That's literally what we all be doing, man.
My bed was the middle and the room was pretty dark. I could see only my mobile phone, then someone just tapped my knee 3 times. I was jumped with fear. I quickly used my phone light to see who it was, but no one was there. I thought it was only my imagination, and then I covered myself with a blanket and tried to sleep. And suddenly, I saw a white shadow of both men and women.
Those your grandparents?
With long hairs and a young girl. I screamed as loud as I could. Everybody woke up, but they never believed me. That night,
this sounds like The Conjuring, bro.
And I started noticing that kind of stuff later on day. After that day, 2 police officers came in our house and meet my father. Me, my sister, and my cousins were watching.
Why is she talking like that, bro?
And the
it's getting on my nerves.
Officers told him that they were looking for the murderers of Mr. and Mrs. They said they could not found for years, so they are going to close this case. We also found out.
Wait, they got murdered in the house?
At the same time she was murdered.
Let me know in the comments.
All scared. Another big incident happened last month. My mother was working in the kitchen, and I was also sitting there gossiping with her. I mentioned the case of Mr. and Mrs. And suddenly, the glass table beside me was broken. I was lucky that I stood up at the right moment.
That's when you gotta move. That's when you gotta move, bro.
In my house, there are 18 people living, and everybody has a haunting experience every time we mention their case. We are still living in that house as nothing serious harm has happened to anybody. But I'm still afraid.
Okay. My almost kidnapped memory in the winter. I couldn't read it all.
When I was 11 years old, I spent the night.
That's a nice house.
With my closest friend at the time. I left around 7 o'clock. He was about 15 to 20 minute walk away from my house. It was the month of December, so it was icy and dark outside.
Yo, don't slip, bro. Back in Philly, I used to always slip every time I used to walk home.
Turn halfway, or across the turn down the sidewalk. I noticed a man way further down. He was alone at the moment. 10 seconds later, a 4-door car drove up to him. It was a long street till my turn, so I watched him talk to whoever it was in the car. It sped off, and he just stopped.
That boy's serving that pack, bruh.
As I kept walking, all I heard was, "Hey you, come here."
He on the clock.
Stop.
Oh,
hey, you.
Shit.
So I freaked out. I
Straight
started
up, bro.
walking faster and then noticed he started running toward me.
R.I.P. Mac Miller, man. A criminal leaves no witnesses.
Since the ground was covered in snow and ice, all I literally thought was, please, God, don't let me slip. I was crying. And I was running.
Oh, God, don't slip, bro. That's it. You slip, it's over.
Back and noticed the car slowly driving behind him. As I ran, I felt his arm reach out and try to grab the hood of my sweatshirt. By God's grace, his hand slipped, and I ran a block trying to find a house with the lights on. I finally found one and banged at the door, almost ready to break it down. This older couple finally answered, and I ran inside explaining what happened. The husband then went outside to try to find him.
Don't do it, dog.
He saw
Don't be a hero.
Standing at the end of the street staring at him.
Don't be a hero out here, bro.
My mom called the police and pulled me out of school for 4 days afterward. And this guy was never found. For a while after, I would buy flowers and a card and leave it on the couple's step, thanking them for saving my life. God only knows what would have happened if he got me and dragged me to the
Damn, bro. GG. Creepy lemonade selling story.
My name is Ronald, and I'm 19 years old. When this happened, I was 9. I grew up in a very small town in Montana, and during the summer, my brother and I would sometimes sell lemonade by the side of the road. We didn't make a lot of money, but we did have fun selling the lemonade to people who were passing by. One hot afternoon, my brother and I were standing at our lemonade stand when we noticed an old rusty car pass by us 2 or 3 times.
Another drive-by?
At the time, it struck me as a little creepy. Eventually, the car slowed down and stopped right in front of the stand.
Rusty-ass car.
There was a woman in the passenger seat, and as she rolled her window down, I saw she was really skinny with gray hair that was stained a sickly yellow hue.
She on
She
crack,
was smiling
bro.
at us, but her face
She
didn't
on
look
crack.
normal.
Don't do it, bro.
I couldn't see the man who was driving very well because he never looked at me and just stared straight ahead. Both of them seemed very odd, and their clothes were old and dirty. "You boys out here selling lemonade all by yourselves?" croaked the woman. "Yeah, my mom lets us," I replied. "Is your mom home?" she asked. "Yeah, she's in the house," I said. The woman turned and looked at the man who was driving. He nodded, still staring straight ahead.
That boy probably like, take him.
The woman turned back to me and said, "Okay, I'll have a lemonade." "That'll be 25 cents, I said as I poured her a glass. She rummaged around in her purse and I could hear coins clinking. Then she pulled out a $5 bill and held it out to me.
Trying to bribe them, bro.
A chill went down my spine. Why was she handing me a $5 bill if she had coins in her purse? Something just didn't feel right.
Too good to be true, dog. Don't do it.
I don't have any change, I lied. "You can keep the change,"
Oh,
she croaked.
got him.
"Just come and take it."
He can't finesse a finesser, bro.
I was struggling with myself, but you know, $5 is a lot of money to a kid. I walked up to the car and reached out to take the $5 from her hand. As soon as my fingers touched it, the woman suddenly grabbed me by the wrist and began pulling me into the car. I screamed my lungs out.
Where's your
and
brother,
my brother
dog?
ran to the house yelling for help. The man floored the accelerator
bruh.
and the car lurched forward. I
Don't
fought
do
with
it, bro.
all my might and managed to wrench myself free from her grasp. The car stopped and the man got out, but I was already running
Hell
for my
nah,
life.
bro. I would have
Then
threw
my
hands,
mother
bro.
rushed out, and I turned just in time to see the rusty old car speeding away.
Throw hands with that
I told
man
my
right
mom
there,
what had
bro.
happened, and she called the police. When my brother and
Break
I
his
calmed
teeth
down
on his
and went back
tires,
to
bro.
the lemonade stand,
Fuck that.
there was a $5 bill lying on the ground.
At least you got the bread, you feel me?
We packed up the lemonade stand and put it away for good. I never had a lemonade stand after that cruel incident.
Came up on a
Nobody could
cool
ever feel
$5
the
bill,
pounding
bro.
of my chest when that woman tried pulling
That's
me.
an easy 4 for
I
4
just
at
thank
Wendy's.
my great God that I'm fine.
Crackheads, bro. My real story about murder.
This incident exactly took
Shit.
place on April 20th, 2019 in Irvine, California. I remember that it was around 11:30 at night. I was watching YouTube on my computer when suddenly I heard yelling from outside of my room.
I thought that was from his computer.
I immediately opened my door to see my mom running toward my room. The first thing she said was for me to call the police, in which I did. My mom heard a large sound and went to investigate, looking through the sliding glass door. And when she opened a curtain, what she saw was a figure on the other side of the glass looking back at her. It was a guy.
Those better be impact windows, bro.
He didn't move at all.
If they not, you done for.
Stared at us, which was so creepy and weird. And his body was covered with a dark, deep liquid like as blood.
Damn.
I then gave my phone to my mom, and she said to the dispatcher with fear that there was a man who climbed onto our second-story balcony.
Damn, he climbed.
I was a bit tense, not knowing what to do in a situation like this, considering I was in a room. Just moments later, my mom calmly called and told my dad, who was not at home, that there was a man that climbed onto our balcony around 11:30 p.m. When my dad was questioning my mom about the situation, I went back to my room to look out my window. After I did that, I heard a distant gunshot.
No.
And that guy already disappeared. Fast forward a couple minutes later, the police show up at our house asking questions about what just happened.
That boy caught a body.
Well, my mom told the police that there was a man and that he looked like he was in his mid-20s. She then told that the man climbed onto our second-story balcony, and when she first saw the man, she instantly went to the sliding door and held it in place before anything bad could happen. When the man was just about to run away, my mom told the cops that she saw a bright flash. My first thought that it might be a handgun for suppress. After Mom turned on the lights from my balcony, I saw there were multiple footsteps and handprints on the pillar and railing. A day later, a group of police detectives came to my house to investigate more into the case. They noticed a bullet hole on the ceiling of our balcony, and they told me and my parents that the hole was made by a handgun.
I mean, what else would it be made out of?
Sent out a firefighter to come and cut the bullet out of the wood. A couple days later, we found out that the guy who was actually in his mid-40s was arrested, and that this wasn't the first time he had done something like this.
Mid-40s?
On the 21st,
didn't y'all say he was in like
he tried to break
mid-20s?
into another house in Irvine at 5 in the morning. And a couple hours later, I was shopping with my dad when my mom calls him to the sickening news that the suspect viciously murdered 2 people in Newport Beach just hours before the guy tried to break into our house. My heart just pumped at that time, and I thanked my mom so much for saving our life.
Get some bulletproof windows, bro.
If she wasn't there during the time, I could have possibly been killed that night.
Yeah, both would have been dead. All right, guys, we're going to stop it right there. Thank you for tuning in for tonight's episode, man. That was part 3. Stay tuned for part 4. There's way more parts to this, man. There's way more parts. It's getting creepier and creepier every single part. No cap. If you guys have any creepy stories, man, send them to me. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Just send them on. Tomorrow, I got something in store for you guys, so don't miss out for tomorrow. Damn, it's hot, man. Yo, honestly, no cap, bro. Those creepy stories, they got me sweating out here, man. I'm nervous for those people. Like and subscribe the video, man. When you guys watch it, that's how it lets me know if you like it or not, man. So like and subscribe, and I'm out.